So what's the secret to a gray hair transplantation? You know, after many, many years and thinking about this procedure, the biggest improvement in our procedure really came from incorporating art into the design of a hairline to make a hairline that looks not only good today, but it's going to evolve over time. And the way to do that is not to try to make a hairline that reverses your age to make you 18 again or 20. What we need to do is make you look good today and then into your 40s, your 50s, and really get you a hairline that looks good forever. So actually start backwards. We start designing the hairline by mapping out what your final recession is going to look like. We can actually identify that line with cameras and with touch. And once we have your final recession, we can actually start building upon that and making sure that the future is going to look just as good as the current. So I can like feel your hair is nice and thick here, and then I get thin at some point. Yeah. So that's like your final regression line. So it's like, obviously your hair is here right now, but it could regress this area, and it could take a while. We don't know if it's ever going to get there if we...
Oh, sorry. Let's try to get that thing off.
Yeah, I think it's squeaky. I can break it real quick. Yeah, I love this place. It's kind of cool because like you kind of get in the mode of like just getting the design process, you know, versus like that stale office over there. We're introducing something new into our process, and that's getting a hairstylist, one of the best people in Chicago, to come design your hair before the procedure. Because once I see how good your hair can look afterwards, I know exactly how to plan where we need to get more coverage. And you'll see Eddie today really transform this hair. You mind on the sides when you do this, like get it short enough that people can see the line I'm drawing.
Yeah.
And then we'll go deeper. But if it comes up, so my line's going to be up here and then up on the top. Up on the top, we're going to be just fine. It's crazy. So I'm working backwards to see like how he styles to kind of build the procedure better.
All right, we ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, do it, man. It's really easy to see now, like where visually you would place the hairline in the best spots. We just gotta see if that kind of fits the sides. You need a little bit sharper angles than like, you know, some people need like a soft curve. I feel it's a very angular temple. Dip is sharp, pretty sharp.
I mean, it certainly looks better already. And I like the tapered look on him with his texture. It's just, this is cleaner, and once you do your magic, we're gonna have that length come in and it'll be great.
The key thing is like this hair right here
Yes.
provides like a really smooth transition to the crown. Like if it's gonna last or not, because if I do a transplant up to here, you get this really nice fade, right? But if I do a transplant here and this all goes away, then there's some coarseness to it. So I gotta build that in. So like what I do is like, here's the crown line. You kind of feel it goes like that. And actually, like now that it's, I can feel it a lot better. The transition zone is actually right here. So you can kind of tell, put your finger there and boom. There. Same thing. That's actually right there. So I do is I kind of build the crown now. So I kind of come up, see it change in texture. So I'm right on the dot here. Sometimes it's just a little bit off because there's just too much air. It kind of gets in your way. It's a circle, so every centimeter the circle expands is double its area. Right? So like if you stay out of this zone, like let's right now let's say we did it, we would transplant up to here, right? It would have all this area to cover in the future. If I stop here, I only have this little gap to cover. So I kind of build that. I build up to here. So sometimes we can fit grafts to about this point. They can tolerate a centimeter and a half with the comb. So if I get down here and I stop, I save so many grafts, probably like almost like 1,800 or 2,000 grafts. So I tell people like lay the foundation first. If you really demonstrate stability, then we go here, right? If they don't have that, then you're a little worried because they have front and back loss, and it's just too much to kind of do. So then if you do the front though, people look at the grafts and it's nice and solid, right? And the recession happens behind it. So it's not as you get time to react, and you can comb all these grafts. Like you can actually bring this forward to cover that gap. So it's a lot safer here. Yeah, and the gap difference here is about 800 grafts. We'll kind of miss out. So what I do is like I take this line now, and I take into account what this current crown is, how thick this area is, and I actually rebuild the crown, and I figure out where that point is. So it's right about here, nice circle. And this is probably the biggest the crown can get. So if you look visually, it's like that, right? The crown. Come stand up. So most people can't even see the crown in this area, right? I mean, if I stand up at 6'4", and then I mark this horizon, like, hey, how far can I see back? It's right there. So have a seat again. So you can see, like, from a visual standpoint, you only need to get to here for someone who's like his height, 6'4". But ideally, you want to build this through so if it goes away, you should build a crown right now. So we're going to actually have enough graphs. It really depends on where you go. So we have crown, 2 sides, and the variable factor is where this front hairline goes. So we can just choose to make hairline forward, which may not be necessary for his age. And then it means we may not get back here, or we can move it back and actually get to that point and have like a solid foundation. It'll never go away.
Sure.
That's like kind of usually
Bring it up a little bit, Doc.
Huh?
Bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do it. But if you also look from the side, let's say we get the facial portions right. We get down to a third. So bottom of chin, bottom nose, right? Same distance. Bottom of nose to the forehead. Forehead to a good hairline. You can see that's where his hairline was, right? That's the hairline. But if you look from the side now, you can see like the head goes up here, and then it comes back, right? There's almost like this transition. So if we went further back, it wouldn't make a difference in the height that much, but it would really save us. Let's say if we did this, if we went from here to here, it would be a very long nose from the profile. Like it'd be too far, it can jet out. If someone's like over here, like his maybe not so bad, but people have furlocks down low. If you push this back, you really save the profile on the side. So now the length will be fine, but the height didn't change so much. If you look at the height change, it's like right here to right here, it's like millimeters. Right, so it's kind of figuring that out. Now his recession's on the side here. He has pretty strong temples for his age, but you can feel the difference here. So for protection, you don't want to bring the hairline down to this point. If it recedes, you get an immediate gap. You have to bring it into the sides here. Since he has good angles, this has to be relatively sharp. So let's say we put the hairline here. We're going to design it. It would end up here today, which looks pretty good. In the future, it would end up here. Right, so you build in all that. Well, I should build all that in tape since then I have to get all the graphs in. There's all these proportions. So people say like halfway from the ear to the bone of the eye. It's about here. That's where the sideburns should be. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put graphs there. And they say from the top of the eyebrow to here is the angle where it goes up and starts curving forward. And then what you do is you have the patient chew. I want you to chew for me. You can feel this bone, or you can feel this muscle. And this is the transition point. And he actually has a pretty strong tempo. It's like nailing that spot. But if we do this, we could actually misaccount for that. Right? So it's kind of, we build it up. So now it's like, let me refine this area. That's actually right on the dot. So I always do solid lines for final and then dotted lines for planning. So actually comes down here. Like right here, you can see it actually has stronger hair. So you can probably predict that this can be higher if you want to. But it depends if you want to be more conservative or not. Sideburn, same thing. Thickness is actually right here. So now we can see the lines. So we have our border marked out. So tilt your head back. So now we can see the crown's really nice shaped. We got essentially the 2 sides. We know we can graft into this area here because it gets too thick. From a technical standpoint, we can get out to the sides this far. And now you can see the difference between these 2 lines. This is the future need. So we might try to get further out, maybe probably get here. But if we can get this down to 1.5 centimeters with the procedure, we won't need a future side procedure. Wasif has a couple choices he can make here. He can decide on the shape of hairline. Does he want something convex, more aggressive, more youthful, or does he want something that's smooth and rolling that tends to last longer? And because both of these can match his future, they are safe options. We do not let Wasif make a choice that's bad for his future. So you'll see here Wasif kind of picked one of the hairlines that he liked, and we're now going to draw the other side. And we're going to go through this process of making the hairline look symmetric enough that you can tell it's different, but you can't really point out where it is. And once that's done, we're going to make sure it connects to the future. This is where like Eddie's help will be really helpful, because he's going to be able to tell you, even if we put the hairline high, how far forward your hairs can come. This is totally convex. Always sits forward. Like it always says, just has a presence where it keeps coming forward on that side. So for someone who has sharp angles, this is really nice. Hits the angles pretty nice on the side. This is more of a rolling, and then they're kind of getting older, and the angles aren't as sharp. You kind of do a rolling. Yes, it's just present. If everything else is sharp and it's like a powerful hairline, you got to do the same thing with the top.
Yeah.
If you place it lower, one thing like what you can see right now is just the front profile. The side profile, you start kind of getting this disproportionate projection, right? So if you look from the side right now, this is actually a really good sharp hairline, and you have your combing. Remember, this is just where the hairs come out of the head.
Yeah.
Where you place this hairline really affects with how the procedure does, because every millimeter right here in the front is 200 grafts. So we're talking about 4 grafts, and it's because the hairs are single grafts and high density. You're talking about 800 graft difference. If you like this shape, I'll march it forward a little bit in a conservative manner, so it'll kind of get to where you want, but like without wasting, like, you know, probably you can sacrifice 200 grafts, come a millimeter forward. So this will be a good current hairline. And then you can see that future will still look good.
This line catching kind of the same spot on this side. I feel like it's a little bit higher, isn't it?
It could be. And actually, if let me see from the back. Do you have a flat spot on the back of your head? No. No, you do. So when you're born, I think you preferred this side with your neck. What it does is pushes this skull base forward, and you get little differences. Like usually this eye is lower because it's scrunched, and that's how the eye's more open. That's like facial asymmetry. But I can see. I want to get this just a little bit higher. I want to get this a little bit higher. What you think?
Let's do it.
Like it? Just enough off, but you can't really tell?
No.
From the front view. Side view, totally separate. Top view, irrelevant, but you can see what happens. Yeah, sharp, man. I mean, like it's gonna do this when we walk out of here. Young, aggressive, sharp, right?
Right.
And then it's gonna roll into future, a little bit less aggressive. It's gonna be a slow kind of curve.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, if you like it, we're gonna cut down the hair.
Let's do it.
We've made a hairline that's a little bit higher than we want, but Wasif's going to save about 800 grafts by making that small change, which is 4 millimeters that you couldn't tell when looking him straight on. You could see it in the side profile, but it helped to move it back. That's 800 grafts that we can use to reach the crown or do more future proofing down the sides. I can't express to you how huge that is. This hairline looks amazing, and it's going to look good today, and it's going to look good into the future, and it's just exactly what I hope we would design. And I think Wasif's extremely happy. He didn't expect this. We spent an hour and a half on this process. I don't know how you can design a hairline in less than 15 minutes. Yeah, it looks sharp. It looks like we're not even doing something. Yeah. And like by the time the procedures, this is all be grown out and looking good. But I can't express enough how this one step is so important to your future results. I think it's the biggest differentiator that we have here at Northwestern Hair. We spend so much time on planning, and we pay so much attention to every detail. And, you know, just having a little bit of an artistic background, we're just really nailing our results.